These past couple of weeks, Jesus has gotten very graphic in how he describes how we can gain eternal life. And it really is a bit offensive when, for the fourth time, he says, "Those who eat my flesh and drink my blood abide in me, and I in them." It seems like Jesus has taken this idea of being the bread of life just a bit too far. And we can understand why the disciples say this teaching is difficult, because it is. But not because Jesus is trying to make it difficult. Jesus isn't trying to gross people out. He just wants people to realize that the way of God is the way of humility and self-sacrifice, and that life and salvation come through Jesus' death on the cross. Now, I know that that's faith talking, and it doesn't really make the 6th chapter of John any less difficult. And that's why, for me, it was helpful to learn that to speak of flesh and blood is actually a Hebrew idiom that means all of oneself. So when Jesus talks about us eating his flesh and drinking his blood, he isn't talking about cannibalism or the stuff of vampires. He's talking about our taking all of Jesus into ourselves. That is God's spirit and soul and ideas and teachings. Indeed, Jesus's very life, which is eternal. Jesus isn't trying to make it difficult for us to believe in him. It just is. I mean, if we take Jesus fully into ourselves, that means that we have to let go of our need for power and control and our selfishness. And it means that we have to turn away from the world's enticements. And that's hard. Truly, the way of Christ is offensive to those who don't want to turn away from the ways of the world. And the truth is that some people do walk away. And that's why it's important for us to hear Jesus' question to the disciples: do you also wish to go away? Or do you want God to change you? Because when we eat the bread and drink that wine, indeed partake of all of Christ within us, then we have God's strength and forgiveness and wholeness within us, and we are changed. And we can stand with Peter and say, "Lord, to whom shall we go? You have the words of eternal life." We have come to believe, to know that you are the Holy One of God. I look forward to seeing you in worship.